This is the entrance to Carriage Hill MetroPark, a historic farm from the 1880s, and it's still working to this day. Just a nice, quiet day here at Carriage Hill Park. It'd be much more calm and serene if you didn't have the traffic sounds from I-70 just a few hundred yards away. But it's still nice, quiet rest spot from the rest of the world. If you're not familiar with what this building or this kind of building does, it is where they take the sap that they collect from the trees in the buckets and they bring it down here and they put a large container in here and they start a big fire, and that fire will cause the water from the sap to evaporate, and they use it to make syrup, which is kind of cool. Now this is just one of 2 units they have here at Carriage Hill that they use to actually make syrup from the sap that they collect in the maple trees. And one of the men that works here told me that it takes about 40 gallons of sap to make up one gallon of maple syrup. But this is one of the evaporators that they use, and it takes a long time and a lot of wood to make syrup the old-fashioned way. You can see here the buckets that are used for collecting the sap, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. Once it's all collected, what they're going to do is bring it over here and fill this up, start a big fire underneath it, and they will evaporate all of the water, and they'll be left with the sugary substance we call syrup. This is the other one that I told you about. This is the pathway leading up to one of 2 graveyards that are here at Carriage Hill. This one is a graveyard for the family that worked the land here, and the family, including babies who didn't survive, are buried here. And the city and MetroParks keeps this nice and safe from people coming up and disturbing it. You can see here on the top of the headstones we have mother and father, and on the other ones it's very hard to read, some of them. But again, these are the people that actually worked this farm. You have Daniel and Catherine and another Daniel here, Henry, and his wife, and then the rest of the family on this side. As I said, this is one of two graveyards that are here in Carriage Hill. This one is for people. We'll show you the other one in just a little bit. Carriage Hill is a working farm, but they work it in the way that they did in the 1800s, and that is using horse-drawn farm equipment. This is a piece of equipment that didn't quite make it up to the second cemetery we're going to go look at, and that's an equipment cemetery. I told you Carriage Hill had two graveyards, one for humans and one for equipment. In an earlier picture, I showed you one of the pieces of equipment that didn't quite make it up here. But all of these were originally used on this farm back in the day, and some equipment very similar to this is being used even today by the people that maintain and operate the Carriage Hill farm for Dayton MetroParks. You can see there are plows, a lot of other pieces of equipment that I have absolutely no idea what they are. This apparently is for mowing and cutting hay, some for tilling and plowing the soil. Not sure what those are pieces of. But all of this was used on this farm when it was fully operational back in the early 1900s. You can see there's a lot of equipment here. In the background, you may still be able to hear the sounds of the traffic on I-70, because as I said, we're only several hundred yards away from one of our interstates. All of this equipment was once used here on this farm, and now it's in the equipment graveyard here at Carriage Hill, Dayton MetroParks, just on the edge of Huber Heights, Ohio.